Hey everybody, it's your girl, Iko J. Blackmon. Having a wonderful day. I'm actually sitting in my dining room, very different setting than I'm normally sitting in when I come to you. But I'm in here doing a little work, doing a little project work. I'm preparing a potted or container garden. And so quick shout out to my girl, Betty Lewis. She's fabulous and wonderful. I've mentioned Betty on different times on my live. She has a financial business. Betty has so many different awesome moves that she does, but one is Young, Rich, and Rooted. Shout out to her in that realm. Betty is a financial genius. I've often mentioned her, as I said on my lives, and said Betty can help you secure the bag. She can help you secure the coin. But Betty also cooks, and Betty does gardening. And so recently I was looking at her page and she posted some videos where she was working on her container garden, and I was inspired because I've always gardened myself, even from a child. My father, who was from the South, and he, very much so lived that life. That was what he and his family did when he was a child to actually make a living. So fast forward to living in up north in Michigan, and my dad, he pretty much raised us in the setting we were in, almost like it was in the South. So we had an outdoor garden. We had, just the whole setup, the clothesline, all of that, all of the whole, what you would consider Southern living like that. But he would take me outside with him and let me come outside, and anything I wanted to learn with the gardening and that type of thing, he would just, come on, that's how he sounded, come on, let me show you. And so I go outside and I learned how to garden with Daddy from a seed garden. And so fast forward years later, here I am in my own home and wanted to continue that wonderful tradition and have some fresh food and just grow. So many things you can that symbolizes for me, that process of growing something. And so I am so inspired. So I'm working on that. And so this is my area that I'm using. One thing that's funny though is that I'm usually not in my dining room working on gardening stuff, but logistically it works because my deck, which is where I'll have my container garden, it's out right in the very front of me right here, and then there's a door right to my left that connects outside. So that was logistically why I came in here. But also it just so happened as I was sitting here, I started looking around and I started thinking about that very thing, about the process of growing, the process of accomplishing, the process of making something actually manifest, and the work that it takes. But as much as I was thinking about that, I also thought about what happens when it actually does. I thought about with my dad in the garden, how we would do the work to till the ground and bring up the dirt and turn the ground over, and all the work it took to make the rows neat and put the seeds in. But then I also thought about the time that we would take for us to continue to nurture the ground, but then we would start to see the progress. We would see the growth and what would happen and all the wonderful harvest that we would get from that garden, and what happens when the manifestation of the work that you put in actually happens. I always got a scripture for you. Mark 9:23 says, all things are possible if you believe. And so the process of believing, sometimes we associate it with the work to get the thing, but believing also is required when we receive it. Sometimes we receive something, y'all, and it goes beyond our ability to even conceive the fact that, yes, this actually did happen. Yes, it actually did show up. Yes, can you really believe it? And I, I've heard people say, can you stand to be blessed? And so I want to encourage you today that, in the midst of all the work you're putting in the midst of all the things that you're doing, all the actual, the tilling of the ground, if you will, the maneuvering and all the processing that it takes to manifest not just a garden, but it may be your relationship, it may be your physical health, whatever you're doing, that it requires work. But I want to encourage you that process you're putting in, it is going to cause growth to come about. And that growth will bring about a true harvest and a manifestation. And when it comes, I want to encourage you to believe. I want to encourage you to know when it's time to put your hands in. I also want to encourage you when it's time to take your hands off and just sit a minute and reflect and understand that, yes, that receiving part is just as much of the process as it is the work that it takes for you to put in to actually manifest it and get it there. So when it shows up for you, just believe it. When it shows up for you, Believe it enough to receive it. Believe it enough to sit in your dining room and look around you and say, you know, I don't normally do a project in here and bring dirt and pots and carrying on, because it's my pretty room, y'all. But it's actually a blessing that I came in here, because it made me sit and look out the window and see my deck and see my curtains and the different things I've set up in here. And one thing I do have, and I'll take a picture of it and show you, but there's a scripture painting I have on the wall, and Mark 9:23 hangs on this dining room wall, and it says, all things are possible if you believe. So be encouraged in that. And as I'm preparing my garden, like I said, I'm gonna show y'all the process and everything, but it just encouraged my heart. So I'm taking this moment, a Selah moment, to encourage you. Be ready for your blessing, because it's on the way. All right, have a great evening, y'all. I'm gonna show you just a couple of things. I'm gonna show you my plants. How about that? I'll show you the ones I'm about to start with. So Betty, hopefully she'll be impressed. I'm gonna do a blueberry. Yes, I'm excited about that. I'm also going to do a cucumber pot. Yes, this is my little cucumber. And then I am doing a couple of tomato plants. This is my tomato plant, and y'all, these are all green on top right now. And then I'm going to do a red pepper. Now this is not a hot pepper. This is one of those sweet peppers. So it'll look like that. And then I'm also going to do a strawberry. So Betty inspired me big time with this, because I saw her have some strawberries. So I was like, you know what? I'm about to do some strawberries too, and that's awesome. So I have 2 fruits and several vegetables. So I am very excited. My containers, they're non-traditional, so as usual with me. And so this is one of my more traditional containers, and it already has the drainage and all of that done in it. And there's a whole process that you go through. And then this is one of my more non-traditional containers, and there's a story behind this. I'll tell you that later. But I'm just working at it, and again, just enjoying the journey, y'all. So just continue to believe and do the thing that's required to make it come to pass. But when it does, you got to take also that same belief so that you can receive it and actually get it. Because sometimes, you know, your lack of belief is the very thing that'll cause you to be in the midst of it and not fully be able to actually embrace it and enjoy it. So take that time, let your faith go beyond just the work. Let your faith extend even into receiving it. Young people, you're about to graduate. People who are starting new jobs, you whatever you're doing in your life, your goals, you know, you're about to start college. You might be getting married. You might be about to have a baby, or maybe you just had a baby. Whatever it is, that new blessing that just showed up or that's just on the horizon, all you have to do, don't be afraid of it. Don't back up from it. Don't let fear be a block for you. But this is the time like never before. Put that same energy that it took you to make it. Get that same energy out there for you to take it, for you to receive it. All things are possible. Mark 9:23, if you believe. Y'all have a great evening. It's your girl, Iko J. Blackmon. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to send you some pictures of my garden and keep you posted, all right? Thanks a lot, Betty. Talk to y'all soon. Love you. Bye.
Will be greater. Your ladder will be greater. Say your ladder will be greater than the rest, because